Looks like most of you have already emailed me your file. I'm wondering, where are you all physically located right now? I mean, could we just go around the room like Ashley, or are you in Kingston?
Yes, I'm in Kingston right now.
Okay. And Lisa as well?
Yes, I'm in Kingston.
Carol Ann?
Yes, I'm in Kingston as
Okay.
well.
Let's do it this way. Anybody not in Kingston? Okay. And are you any of you getting together socially at all, or are you all sheltered in place?
I think we're all sheltered in place, right, guys?
Okay, thanks. We're just getting at the point now where we're starting to open up some things here in Lincoln, Nebraska, right in the middle of the US. And yet our rules aren't consistent across types of organizations. And there's some confusion because of that. For example, our state government received funds from our federal government for COVID-19, and in order to receive those funds, our local organizations can't require people to wear masks and also receive the state funds. So in other words, you can't make people mask up to go into some of those organizations. And yet at the same time, the University of Nebraska, Lincoln here, is going to require people even into the fall to wear masks, whether they're indoors or outdoors. And so one group says you have to wear a mask, another group says you don't have to wear a mask. And so it's quite confusing. All right, I think everybody's done here. 3, 4, 5, 6. We're close to it. Let's do this by practice. Let me see if I've got. Okay, so in the simulated practices, we have practice 1, which is Lisa and Carol Ann. So we'll just have practice 1, if you would. We won't go through all these questions, but let's see. Let's do 2 and 4 and 5. So Lisa, you're up first on my list of practices. So tell us about any of your hobbies or interests outside of dental school. I know when you're in dental school, that's your whole life. But I mean, besides that, for a well-rounded life, what are 2 or 3 hobbies or interests that you have?
Well, I love cooking, so it's a huge hobby. I wouldn't even call it a hobby. It's something I do every day. I want to incorporate it into my life moving forward, so it's more than a hobby. Um, I love traveling, or which once was traveling.
Okay.
um, I love anything outdoorsy, anything to do with the outdoors.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Carol Ann.
So for me, photography or anything artistic, going outside or going to the beach or rivers, anything to do with exploring. I love doing that. And I love going to the gym as well and working out.
Okay. Very good. All right. Let's go ahead and stay with the same practice. Lisa, how about 4? If you could live anywhere and you were wealthy like Warren Buffett, or money wasn't a problem, where would you live and why?
I said Jamaica. It's actually funny when I went to college, boarding school and college in the States. I was in LA for 4 years and Florida for 3 years. And I was pretty dead set on trying to live in America. But on moving home, I don't know. I was born here and grew up here, and I don't think that anywhere compares to Jamaica and just the comfort and safety that I feel living here. So I would
Good.
definitely,
Okay. So you'd stay where you are.
yeah.
Okay. And Carol Ann, how about you?
Um, I said that out of all the cities or countries I've visited so far, that Jamaica is still my top choice. I lived in Canada for a couple of years and I do love it there, but for maybe like 2 or 3 months out of the entire year when it's warm.
Yes.
Other than that, I think Jamaica is still my top choice.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. And for Lisa and Carol Ann, what do you plan to be doing in your careers in 5 to 7 years? And where would, so we've already established you're probably going to be living in Jamaica, so we can lop that off. So hopefully, if you could paint your ideal career in 5 to 7 years, where would you be, or what would you be doing? General dentistry? Lisa, are you going into ortho, oral surgery, perio? What are you guys interested in?
As of right now, I want to stick with general dentistry. I'm not really interested in orthodontics. Didn't get that gene.
Okay.
Um, I want to split my time between private and public sector dentistry because I've had some experience in both, and both are fulfilling in their own ways. So
Okay.
ideally, that's what I would be doing.
Very good. Okay. Carol Ann?
In 5 to 7 years, I'd hopefully, if not have my own practice, I'll be in the works of opening up my own practice.
Okay.
I also do want to split time between public and private sector.
Okay, very good. All right. And I'm not sure, practice two. Uh-oh, just lost my picture of your practices. There it goes. Let's see, practices two. And Carol Ann, since your name is hyphenated, I assume you go by here, Carol Ann, is that correct?
It doesn't really matter to me. It's up
Well,
to
okay. What do you want me to call you?
me, Carol. It's fine.
Okay, all right, all right. And Janae and let's see, Anissa, I don't know if she was able to join us even by phone. So I had emailed her, but I'm not sure that she's on with us. So Janae
I
will,
think she's coming on.
pardon me?
Anissa's coming on. I think Anissa's coming on. She's getting ready to come on.
Okay, great. Okay. Let's see.
I'm not sure if she's
So,
going to be.
okay, we'll go ahead and if we can pick her up later, we'll do that. Meanwhile, Janae, what are your couple of interests that you have?
In my free time, I like to watch Netflix. I'm addicted to watching different series. I also like to go to the gym sometimes, and I like doing hair in my free time.
Okay, very good. And let's see. Where would you want to live and why, if you could live anywhere?
I would say Jamaica, but if I had to choose anywhere else, I'd say the Bahamas, which is similar to Jamaica.
Very
Just
okay.
because of the natural environment and what I've heard and seen. I've never been, so I'd like to go there first before I decide.
Okay, very good. And how about your career in 5 to 7 years? What would you like to be doing?
I'm interested in endodontics, as well as perio, but I'm not sure as yet. So general dentistry for now, and I'd like to stay in Jamaica and give back in areas where they're probably lacking.
Okay, good. Thank you. Let's see, practice 3, Larissa and Ashley. So we'll go back up here to interests and hobbies for each of you.
Hi, so my interests, I play squash, so that's a big part of my life.
Okay.
I also like reading, though I don't get to do much more than schoolwork currently, and watching television.
Okay, good. Ashley, how about you?
Well, I like reading as well. I love to listen to music, and I like fashion. Like I like to go on YouTube and just watch people try on clothes because I don't know, it's fun for me.
Okay, very good. All right, you haven't been arrested for that, have you? Just kidding, just kidding. All right, all right. Let's see. Back to Larissa. Where would you live?
Well, I'm from Guyana, so I would live there
Okay,
just because I just like being at home
very
with my
good.
family. Yeah.
Okay. And Ashley, how about you?
Well, for me, initially I had put France because in high school I kind of fell in love with the language and the culture. But now that I think about it, I think I would relate more to Jamaican. And I love my country, so I I think I'm backpedaling and thinking about putting Jamaica.
Okay, very good. How about professionally for each of you? If you could, define your ideal job or career in 5 to 7 years, what would you each be doing?
Well, I'm actually thinking about specializing either in orthodontics or dental public health.
Okay, very good.
For me, in the next 5 to 7 years, I definitely would like to go back to my parish, which is in St. Thomas, to serve the community there because it's very underserved. So I'll be in general practice for a couple years, and then after I think I want to pursue orthodontics.
Very nice. Okay, good. Thank you, practice 3. And we'll go on to practice 4. Bogdan, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. What are your couple of your hobbies?
Well, I love everything outdoors. I always look for sports where there are few people around,
Okay,
like rock climbing and canyoneering, caving, and stuff like that. I guess I like a bit of
okay, good.
solitude or not too many people around.
Okay. And Leah?
I like going to the beach, exercising, and um doing adventurous stuff, traveling and finding new places.
Okay, very good. And for each of you, where would you live if you could live anywhere?
Um, well, for me, I've never lived anywhere else other than Jamaica, so it's kind of hard for me to say where I'd go or if I'd go and settle somewhere else. I mean, obviously, I've traveled to places and I like it, but living there, traveling there, and just visiting is different from living there. So I'm not sure. Um, I think if I were to move anywhere, though, it definitely have to be warm, like
Okay.
Jamaica or
Okay.
close.
All right, that's understandable. All right, and for career-wise, for each of you in 5 to 7 years, where would you like to be? What would you like to be doing?
Well, I, I'm somewhat interested in orthodontics.
Okay,
So that's what I want to do now. Well, once I finish school, I'm not sure if I'll change my mind.
okay. And for you, Bogdan, what do you want to do?
Well, I spent quite some time in my life doing prosthodontics in the lab, so I would focus on building on that in the practice, and
Okay,
yeah, that's mainly what I'm interested in.
okay, good. And let's see, practice 5. Is it Alicia? Am I saying it right?
Yes, yes, it's Alicia.
Okay, okay, okay,
Sorry
good.
about that.
That's all right. I know what it's like. You got, mute and unmute and yeah, okay.
Yeah,
A
sorry.
delay. All right. So for you in practice 5, for Alicia and for Gervais, let's go back up here. Give us a couple of your hobbies.
Okay, well, I like to draw, and I also like going to the beach, working out. I think that, yeah, and I like watching YouTube videos,
Okay.
natural hair YouTube videos.
Okay, good. And Gervais, how about you?
For me, I enjoy football a lot. I'm a big Real Madrid fan, and I like to play football. So that's a big hobby for me. Other than that, I like to volunteer and try to like help those that are less fortunate. And also, I just started learning French, as a little hobby.
Oh,
So still a beginner, but.
very good. All right. And for each of you, where would you live if you could live anywhere?
Well, I said Jamaica or Japan. Um, I really love being in Jamaica. I lived in the US for a while, but I thought that being there, I really miss Jamaica. So I guess I love my country, as Ashley said. Japan, I always had an interest there. Um, not for any particular reason, but I guess I just liked it, I guess, from what I see.
Very good. Gervais, how about for you?
If I could live anywhere, I don't think there's anywhere quite like as unique as home. So Jamaica is my place of choice every time. I think my experiences there are are second to none, and so I can't see myself living anywhere else.
Okay, very good. And for each of you, in terms of career, maybe in 5 years, where would you like to be?
Well, I have an interest in periodontics, so I'd want to be a periodontist in about 5 years.
Okay, great.
For me, 5 to 7 years. Not quite sure, but if I do intend to pursue some type of specialty, it would either be in orthodontics or surgery. Other than that, I'm really interested in general dentistry just because of the flexibility. So that would be me.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate all your answers. And I think, let's see. Anissa, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
There you are. I'm not sure if I can see you, but I can hear you. He may be down the list here somewhere. Oh, hi. So I sent everybody this email to answer these questions. We already kind of went around the room, but quickly, do you have a couple of hobbies you're interested in?
Well, I don't really do anything, but I like to watch TV shows on Netflix, and I like watching YouTubers, especially Jamaican YouTubers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And if you could live anywhere, where would you live?
Well, as everyone said, I would live in Jamaica.
Okay.
I would love to visit other places as a tourist, but not to live.
All right.
I would like to stay here. Yes.
Very good. And do you plan to practice general dentistry, or what are your career plans in the next 5 to 7 years?
I'd like to stay in general dentistry for now and just explore the different areas before making a decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me, when COVID hit, in your whole dental curriculum over the course of those 5 years, were you about 20% into your clinic and clinical skills as opposed to pre-clinic, actual treating of patients? Were you about 20% of 100% into that process, or where were you? I'm just curious. Am I not answering the right question? Out of a scale, when you graduate, if you've got 100 points for all your clinical experience with patients, by the time COVID hit, how many points would you have accumulated, do you think? 20, 30?
Maybe less.
Maybe less? Okay.
Just in patients one a week, once times a week for 4 hours. So that's
Okay.
all our experience.
I'm trying to kind of get a sense of where you are in that process compared to where our students are. We're in a 4-year program, and so you're kind of like our 3rd-year students, and they were probably at most 20%, 25%, and now they haven't seen a patient in 3 months, and I'm sure that's disappointing, probably a little anxiety there too, because now you got to sometime make that transition back to seeing patients, and then hopefully we'll have some practice time in the lab before you get to that process as well. So I thought we would take the next maybe 10 or 15 minutes. We'll go over what the course is going to include and grading. Then we'll take a stretch break, and then we can come back. And so I'll try to share a screen. All right. So hopefully you can all see course schedule. Can you see that? Do you have it, Leah?
Just the folder, the large folder.
Oh, you don't have the, oh, thank you. See, I didn't know that. So that's what I need to hear from you. I'll try again. How about now?
Yes, we see it.
Okay, now you got it. Good. Yeah, you'll have to keep me on track. I'm used to teaching Zoom, but usually not for 4 hours at a time and then going back and forth with all these documents. So this is the course schedule and syllabus, which is posted on RVLE. All the important documents, almost all of them in this course are posted already on RVLE. So hopefully you can access those and use them. So here's kind of where we're headed in the course. This course is built on 4 pillars, as I had emailed to you. There's a textbook, and I can maybe try to share that. All right, so I'm hoping you can see a textbook. Can you see that?
No, we're still seeing the folder.
You are, okay, my goodness. Yeah, I've got to double click on these things. So thank you for letting me know that. Now you got it?
Yes, now we
Good.
see it.
Okay, so this is the textbook. We'll be using several chapters from this textbook. So this is one of the pillars for the course. I don't know, I don't even know if your library is open. I know I donated at least one of these copies to the library. If you need to, you may have to maybe each practice buy an ebook or something and share that. So we'll have quizzes over I think 6 of the chapters that are in this textbook over the course of the next 3 weeks. That's a resource you'll probably want to have going into private practice, whatever your career path may be, even in public dentistry. All right, back to the course schedule. I tried to share that. Hopefully it was successful. All right, so today we're getting to know each other. We'll overview the course and grading, which we're doing now. Registration for the simulation, you've already done that, so thank you for doing that. And then I'll have you get together with your practices later this morning virtually and create kind of a one-page slide or one-page Word document and have you send that to me, and then we'll eventually put that up on the Facebook page, and then we'll use that toward the end of the simulation as well. And I'll introduce you to the simulation manual, and we'll watch hopefully a couple videos online before we call it a day today. Tomorrow morning, We'll continue the orientation to the simulation, and we'll make decisions for the simulation. So the second pillar of this course then is the management simulation, which is online, right? And so there are two simulations. There's a basic simulation and there's an advanced simulation. So when Lisa's brother took this course 3 or 4 years ago, we used the basic simulation, and I found that it was just too basic. So we moved to the advanced simulation the next year. So we'll be using both the basic simulation for content, but we'll be actually playing the simulation game, if you want to call it that, using the advanced version, which gives you more options to make decisions to manage your practices. But a lot of the content in terms of what will be on your final exam questions and a lot of the quiz questions in this course will be based on the basic simulation. So in addition to the simulation, and I should also tell you that Dr. David Willis, who is the author of the online simulation, donated that for your use. And that may not seem like a lot, but it's 3,000 US. So without that donation, you know, we wouldn't have the simulation, and the course wouldn't be anything close to what it's going to be. So I'm very grateful to him. And if we were there gathered in person, I'd have you all sign a card or something and send that to him in thanks. But he's, you know, we're not there physically together. But I think you will find the simulation very helpful, challenging at times, and I think you're going to learn a lot about the practice of dentistry, especially the business parts of dentistry, through the course of that simulation. So tomorrow morning, we're going to make a pretend round of decisions in the simulation. In other words, we're just going to get used to the website, enter some numbers. They aren't going to count for anything. And then after you do it once for just practice, then we will do it a second time for decisions that actually count in the simulation. Here's a reminder of the course to complete on goal setting. That's due a week from tomorrow, I think 8 a.m. That's an online course. When you complete that, bring up the email and make sure you enter the assignment number. Otherwise, your score probably will not post. And I would recommend that you take a screenshot of your score just to save it in case something gets wrong with electricity or Wi-Fi, just to have a backup. On Wednesday of this week, we'll review Q1 results. I'm going to have you work in your teams to set goals for your simulation both tomorrow morning. We'll finish those up on Wednesday. We have a guest speaker on Wednesday, Dr. Addison Colleen. We'll go over a PowerPoint. For quarters, a business quarter is a 3-month period of time in a business. And so we will have 12 rounds of making a decision in the simulation, which is 3 simulated or pretend years in the simulated world. And for quarters 2 through 11. So for 9 or 10 of those quarters, we'll have a PowerPoint, and Dr. Colleen will be teaching that on Wednesday. And then we'll make Q2 decisions. I've created breakout rooms for the simulation. I would guess that about maybe 50% of our time will not be like this. 50% of the time will be me meeting with group 1, and then group 2, and then group 3, and then group 4, and then group 5, each individually and separately, to strategize your decisions, to help you understand the simulation and make decisions. So a lot of this is going to be active learning rather than traditional lecture. The PowerPoints that we do have in the simulation aren't very long, usually around 30 minutes plus or minus. So won't be a lot of traditional lecturing except maybe for our guest speakers. So we'll continue with the simulation. Each day will be a separate business quarter where you make decisions for the next 3 months in the simulated world. Our first quiz in the simulation will be on Thursday, which will be based on chapter 2 in the transition textbook, and also based on this PowerPoint. That will be probably the simplest quiz that you have, because we'll already have a PowerPoint on it, so that should help you do well. Continue with the simulation. So we've got the textbook as a pillar for the course. We have the simulation as a pillar for the course. And then we have a couple of online courses, which is another pillar, and then the guest speakers as well. So next week we continue with the simulation. We have another quiz on a couple of the book chapters. Next Tuesday, Dr. Holmes is scheduled to speak with you about marketing and social media. And we'll continue working through the simulation. On Wednesday next, we have Kira Dent scheduled to speak on hiring the dental A-team, tips on hiring and firing. And we'll continue every day will be another quarter for the simulation. On Friday, July 3rd, we have another guest speaker, David Harris, who's the guest, be our guest professor talking about embezzlement in private practice. I don't know what the rate of embezzlement is in Jamaica or in other nations, but in the United States, if you think COVID-19 is a pandemic, embezzlement is much worse in terms of money that's stolen from dentists by their staff. Sometimes dentists stealing from each other, but usually staff members stealing from dentists. So he will talk with you about that. So you get a perspective about that. And again, we'll continue with our simulation each day. On Tuesday, the 7th, we have a guest speaker, Dr. Costas. We'll talk about the most vital points in practice management. Dr. Costas has a podcast called Dentalpreneur, taking off of the name Entrepreneur. And he has, I don't know what the numbers are, he can update us, but I think he has over 100,000 people listening to that podcast every month, over 40 countries. So he's definitely an international expert. For his generation, probably the expert in practice management in the world at this point. And then as we wind things down in week 3, tomorrow and the next day put together your goals for your simulated practice, and then at the end you will evaluate how well you achieve those goals. And I want to emphasize to you now that you aren't going to be evaluated or graded on whether you meet the goals or not, but you'll be graded and evaluated based on whether you can explain how you did or didn't meet the goal. So if you say you're going to have $300,000 in production, I'm just getting a signal my internet is weak. So if I go out for some reason, you let me know. I think we have thunderstorms scheduled for the day. So let me know if I disappear. You can send me an email, hopefully. But you're not going to be evaluated on the goals that you set out, but you'll evaluate it on how well you're able to explain whether you met your goals or didn't. So, for example, if you say you were going to have $300,000 in dentistry in the last 3 months at the end of the simulation, and you had 400,000, then I'm going to want to know why you did better than you thought you'd do. Or if you had $200,000 in production when you forecast 300,000, I'm going to want to know why you didn't get to 300. So again, the grade is based on your explanation of how you met the goals or didn't, rather than whether you actually hit the target. So I'll give you class time to complete these assessments. This will all be done in class, open book. This part of it will be open book. And if we need to, I'll give you more time in the afternoon to finish that. And then Friday, July 10th, we'll do a simulation review and prizes. So, so here's the deal with the prizes. We were going to bring prizes with us for the simulation as we've done every year for 3 years. We can't be there in person. And so some of the prizes I had already bought to bring with us are still in my basement in a box because I couldn't send them. For example, Procter & Gamble donated 2 Oral-B electric toothbrushes, which are nice prizes, you know, like they're $150. Well, there is no way I can send something with a lithium battery to Jamaica. I mean, that's just not going to be allowed by customs. So they're still sitting in my basement. If we come back next year, maybe we can take them. So we bought different simulation prizes that would make it through customs. And so 3.5 weeks ago, DHL picked up that package, and it's been sitting somewhere in Kingston for 3 weeks, and it hasn't been picked up. So I don't know who's supposed to pick it up. I've talked with Professor Jones. So whether you get prizes or not depends on whether that package shows up. So hopefully someday that package is going to show up. I have pictures of the prizes. So the way this will work is the practices that perform the best will get to choose from practice prizes first, and then the team that finished second will get to choose the second set of prizes, and so forth. So we'll do a virtual prize selection on that Friday, and I'll have teams report on how well they did. And let's see, so here's the grading system. That's probably important to you. So we have 2 online courses, and those are tests that are associated with each of those. Those tests for the online courses are open book. In other words, you can have the PDF open while you take that. So those are each worth 3% of the grade that I turn in for you. We have 5 in-class quizzes. Those are not open book. Those are each worth 4% of the grade. So combined, those are 26%. All the quizzes are multiple choice and true false. I don't want to get into essays and short answers when I'm teaching from afar. That's just not good for me or for you, I don't think. Let's see, assignments. You 5% of the grade that I turn in will be for the goals that you set tomorrow and Wednesday. So you're going to get practice. You all buy the same practice on paper, and then you're going to tell me what you're going to do with that practice in terms of growing it over 3 years and set out those goals. Then you'll be graded on your overall financial performance, and I'll show you a chart about what that looks like for 22%. And then your evaluation of those goals is 23%. So combined, that's 50 for the simulation. That's a rough guesstimate about how much time will be devoted to the simulation. A lot of our time will be spent there. And then the questions I submit for your final exam will be worth 24%. And the quizzes that I submit, I've already written them. I've already turned them in to Professor Jones. Those quizzes will be based on the PowerPoints that are already posted on RVLE. We'll go over each of them in class. And so the quizzes, the exam questions that I develop and submit and have already submitted will be based on those PowerPoints that are posted on RVLE. If you want background information for any of those PowerPoints to read more about them, there is a background document on the basic simulation website, which we'll be going over, and you can access that there. But really, you can just use the posted PowerPoints. That should be all that you need. And let's see. There's also an additional document posted on RVLE called Staff Performance Reviews, and there will also be final exam questions posted off of that document. This course is a part of the course DENT 4422. And this is something I don't know, and maybe you can help me with. I don't know. I'm teaching part of that bigger course, and I don't know how much percentage of the grade that I turn in counts toward that bigger course. So these are the percentages that I'm turning in for what I'm teaching, right? But I don't know if all combined, if that's half of the course or 2/3 of the course or 75% of the course. I just don't know. But maybe you could ask Professor Jones or whoever's teaching that as course director for that larger course, and they could tell you that. So here's a sample table of how the portion of the course for financial performance and the simulation will be graded, and how final standings will be figured out in the simulation. So in the simulation, I will take the total profit that you've earned in your practice over the course of the 3 simulated years. I will add into that how much cash you have as a practice at the very end. I will give you a credit for how much money is owed you from patients, which is accounts receivable. And in the simulation, you can take different approaches to financing dental care. So based on whether you are approaching that with a lot of financing for patient care or very little extended credit for patients, you'll get a different percentage of this accounts receivable number. Then I'll subtract the amount of loan you have left on your practice and subtract the amount of taxes that you owe for that third year in dental practice, and that will be a total financial performance number. And then this total financial performance number then will translate in a table something like this for a course grade for the simulation financial performance. I base this on the last couple of years. Your practice may do better than this. I don't know. We'll just have to see how y'all perform on that. All right. Does anybody have any questions about the course or the grading before we move on? Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. You can always email or send me a chat if I notice the chats. Well, we've been going here for 75 or 80 minutes, so why don't we take a 10-minute stretch break? I'll just leave the Zoom meeting going here, and then let's get back together at about 35 after, and I'll kind of introduce to you the simulation, all right? Some more. So I'll see you in about 10. So Carol, do you know what the plan is for when you guys get to return?
We have no idea.
Okay. Lots of uncertainty.
Lots of uncertainty, yes.
So Lisa, show me the view of where you're sitting off to your right. What are we looking at? Jack's Hill, where are we? Oh, there we go. Very nice. Okay,
I live by a golf course, so that's the golf course.
very nice.
But our neighbors are building a house, so it's not very fun right now.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. But it's very pretty. It's very green and it's very nice.
All right. So I hope you can all see this dentalsimulations.com screen.
Yeah, we can see.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate it. So what I've done here is I've logged on to the dentalsimulations.com website. You've all registered for the simulation twice. You have maybe you may have different usernames to enter the basic simulation and passwords then for the advanced game. It depends on how you set that up, but hopefully you kept that information. So I'm logged in now for the advanced simulation game. And so here is what you will see. And if you want to, if you remember how to log in, you can do that now, or you can just kind of follow along. At some point, you'll want to log in. If not today, certainly by tomorrow. But anyway, so I'm logged in. I'm logged into the simulations website under the advanced simulation. So I've entered my username and my password for the advanced simulation. And here is the textbook for the advanced simulation game. I have copied and pasted that onto RVLE. So it's there, it's here. You have it in two places. I would download it. It's just a PDF, won't take too long. If you got room on your laptop, or upload it to the cloud or Google Drive or wherever you put your documents, I would download that. So here's the manual for the whole advanced simulation. It is also broken down for you by individual chapter if you would want to download these files instead. I don't really know why you'd want to do that, but if you wanted to do that, the PDFs are there. This is all free to you because of Dr. Willis's donation. So there's information in this manual that will apply not only to the simulation but to dental practice and life later. So I would definitely I'd probably just download this entire manual right here. Whether you want to do that today or tomorrow sometime, just grab that. And again, it's on RVLE as well, so you've got it in 2 places. So this is kind of our document for how the simulation is run, what decisions you make in the simulation, what the results mean, and so on. And we'll be getting into a lot of that in a lot of detail here in the upcoming days. So I thought we would take just maybe about 20 minutes and watch a couple of introductory videos related to the simulation. I'm going to try to share these. I know sometimes Zoom doesn't cooperate real well with this, but we're going to try. So let me see. I may have to bring this up and then share the separate screen once I have it up. All right, you should all have in front of you now, hopefully, tell me if you've got it. You should have the Dental Practice Strategic Challenge introduction. You got that?
Yes, we can.
Wonderful, thank you. I've got my volume cranked up here pretty good so that you can hear it. So this is just kind of an introduction to the simulation, what the process looks like, and then we'll also take a short tour of the website after we review this. So here we go.
Hi there, this is Dave Willis, and in this video tutorial, I'm going to be discussing the dental business simulation, the Dental Practice Strategic Challenge. I'll be talking about what's involved in the game and what you can expect to do and learn from your participation in the simulation. Confucius said, "I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, I do and I understand." What this simulation game does is allows you to make a series of management decisions about a simulated dental practice, see how they work so that you can actually get a feel for managing your own practice. Now, Confucius never had to get tenure. I imagine somebody at the National Training Laboratories did. So they developed a learning pyramid, which basically says the same thing as a Confucian quote. As we move down the pyramid to more hands-on type work, we retain a lot more of the information. So the average lecture, you retain about 5%, reading about 10%, but by the time you get down by practicing, by doing and discussion groups, you retain a much higher percentage of that information. And that's the purpose of this simulation, is to let you actually use the material, discuss it in a group, and in that way help to improve your information retention. Simulations are models of reality, and they can be physical, mathematical, financial, chemical, or electronic. But the important thing is that they represent change over time as internal and external factors influence that simulation. There's a lot of examples out there: Microsoft Flight Simulator, various golf games for the computer, the oxymoron that the Army does called war games, where they actually go out and practice waging war so that they can learn by doing. In dental school, we have a number of simulations too. There's various dentiforms that you use in the early operative courses. Many of you have worked with SPs or simulated patients, and now we have the Dental Practice and Management Simulation series that we can learn practice management by doing simulated practices. We know that there's different levels of competence. We're not trying to make you an expert by participating in these simulations. Be happy if we can get you to stage 3, which is competence, the say beginner. It takes years of being in practice to rise to the level of expert in any of these disciplines, whether it be operative dentistry, crown and bridge, or practice management. Now, in the simulation, we have 2 different levels. There's a business foundations, which is the basic simulated practice, and strategic challenge, which is the more advanced. This simulation is the strategic challenge. It's an advanced strategy game. Through the rest of this tutorial, I will discuss the strategic challenge game. There's really three parts of the game. The student manual, which contains background information for the participants and a number of forms. Your game administrator or instructor will actually run a computer program that manipulates the variables and produces printouts. And then there's a website where you will enter decisions for your simulated practice, print out the results, and there's a series of frequently asked questions and other learning materials on that website. Typical decision cycle is that you'll make and then enter decisions for the upcoming simulated quarter. You'll make those on the website, enter them. Your game administrator then will draw those down, compute results from your decisions, post those results to the various teams back on the website where you'll pick those results up, analyze the results from the previous quarter, and make a new series of decisions for the upcoming quarter. And that process, then that decision cycle will repeat until your game administrator tells you that the game is done. Objectives of the game include to maximize profit on the income statement, improve the balance sheet, which is assets minus liabilities, net worth. You want to maintain a prudent cash position, service your debt in a timely manner, act legally, ethically, and fairly, and be a good and responsible citizen in the community and with your patients, staff, and other practice participants. How will this game be assessed? Through a combination of factors, including profit ranking, net worth ranking, tax preparation if your game administrator has you do that, and your report to the banker. There are a number of learning outcomes that we expect you to see through participation in the simulation. First is planning. We hope that you develop a strategic view of dental practice, and that is to say a long-term view where you may need to make changes along the course of the practice to better meet both internal and external environmental demands. Develop plans for the practice and assess the planned performance. You should learn management techniques, and by this we mean to develop a business outlook. Business people use various planning, budgeting, forecasting, and control techniques to improve the profitability of their business. We hope you'll understand those relationships in between operations, staffing, marketing, and finance. Through this, you should improve your analytical techniques for business, including developing a higher level decision-making skills and understanding the numbers of the practice. Years ago, dentists could be successful just by being technically good dentists and taking care of their patients. In today's complex dental environment, it's important that you are able to read the numbers of the practice just like you can read a blood pressure for your patients. This then lets you make better and more informed decisions about what you want to do with the practice. The primary technique we're going to use here is called ratio analysis, and we'll get into that more later. We hope you'll develop problem-solving skills. There are factors both inside and outside the practice to which you must respond, and you're going to be making decisions without complete information, that is, in the face of ambiguity. It's important that you learn to collect as much information as you can to make good decisions and then to go ahead and make that decision, even though you may not have perfect information. You'll be working in a team of several students. Teamwork is important in the dental practice too, since basically you're working in a small group and you're going to be the leader of that team. So through this process, you'll get a chance to work on some of those skills as well. Each team buys the same exact dental practice. Your student manual describes this practice and the community in which you practice. Your game administrator may customize many of the variables for your particular area. We know, for example, that the heartland of the United States has lower fees and lower staff costs than, for example, larger cities on either the East or West Coast. Because of these regional variations, your game administrator will initialize or set up the practice to be representative of practices in your area. So there's a number of tasks that you'll do first. That includes forming the team formation, the group. You'll decide on who's going to be doing what tasks and how you're going to make decisions. You'll define a mission for the practice, establish goals, and set a strategy for achieving those goals. The decisions that you're going to be making every decision period include operational decisions, what hours of operation you're going to have, whether you're going to have evening, weekend hours, for example. If you want to buy any additional operatories, you'll decide your credit and collection policy, how strict or how loose you want that credit and collection policy to be, and whether or not you'll participate in any managed care plans. There's a Medicaid, a PPO, and a CAP plan that operate in the area. You'll have to learn what those plans are, the various characteristics of those plans, and decide if you want to participate in them. A series of staffing decisions you'll make include hiring or terminating staff of various categories, hygienists, receptionists, or assistants. You'll have to decide how much to pay them, whether or not to offer any benefits, and how much continuing education to offer. A series of marketing decisions to bring patients into the practice, including your practice style, how much you're going to charge for your services, and how much you're going to spend for advertising in the area. A series of financial decisions you'll make include how much draw or how much money you're going to take from the practice to live on, whether you need to borrow additional money, or maybe you can make an extra repayment to the bank. You'll have to decide if you're going to contribute to your and staff members' retirement plans, and if you have extra cash, you can invest those in a 91-day certificate of deposit to earn a little bit of interest. In order to make good decisions, you can buy information about your area. The teams in your game are the practices in your area, so you may want to know, for example, what the average fees are from everybody that participates in the game so that you can set your fees appropriately.
I'll just make a couple of brief comments here about the buying information for your area. So in this simulation, you are competing against each other. So practice 1 is competing against practice 3 is competing against practice 4, and practice 5 is competing against all the other practices. And you're allowed in the simulation to get essentially what I would call, I guess in a simple way, spy information. So if Bogdan wants to know what Carol Ann is doing in her practice, he won't know exactly what she is doing, but he can request information about what the fees are in the market. He can request information about what advertisement looks like in the market. So there are packages of information you can buy about what's going on in your marketplace so that you can strategize to hopefully make your practice more successful. So throughout the simulation, I'll be encouraging each of your practices when we have consults as you make your decisions each time. I'll occasionally say, yeah, you really should buy information related to something in your practice. It could be fees, it could be types of practices, it could be amount of advertising, maybe it's related to staffing, what staff are earning, and so forth. And so that's an important step or strategy to implement in the simulation.
Each quarter also has an incident to which you respond. These incidents may be ethical, management, staff, or patient relations dilemmas. So as we play the game, we'll do our initial task, get our teams formed, set our philosophy and goals. Then weekly in the class session, we'll make our regular decisions. And then there are some special tasks as well. At the end of each year, we may be asked to calculate taxes. And at the end of the game, we'll have a wrap-up session. So our regular tasks include completing decisions each week, and we'll do that on the website, www.dentalsimulations.com. You'll enter your decisions there, and you'll also pick your reports up or your printouts. They'll be distributed on the same location. Here is the data entry form that you'll see, and you can see it's a series of drop-down boxes. So the data entry itself is really pretty quick. And here's an example then of the printout, and there'll be separate video tutorials about how you make decisions and what information is contained on each of these printouts. Each week you'll want to record information and probably do some ratio analysis. There's a computer spreadsheet on the website. There's a chart in the book that you can use, or probably easy way is simply to order the financial analysis report as one of your regular decisions. And we'll discuss ratio analysis in a separate tutorial as well. Special tasks may include tax computations for each year, where you'll complete a Schedule C, profit or loss from operating your business, and also an estimate of your personal tax obligations. At the end of the game, we have what we call a report to the banker. This is where we conclude the game, summarize the results, and debrief the various groups. We'll ask probably some of the winning groups and some of the groups that didn't do so well to respond on their decisions and their strategies. So again, we have the website, www.dentalsimulations.com, where you'll need to go and register, pick up your game documents, team quarterly printouts, and team analysis documents. Josh Billings said life consists not in holding good cards, but in playing those that you hold well. If we use the card game analogy, everybody starts with the same hand here. Everybody begins in the same practice. Question is, can you make good management and business decisions that increase the profitability and net worth of your practice more than other people who are playing the game? So that should give you a good idea of what we're going to be doing here in the Dental Practice Strategic Challenge. I certainly hope you enjoy it, and I hope you get a lot of learning out of participation.
Okay, so that's our first video, kind of just giving an orientation to the simulation and what that will look like. Any early questions at this point? I will share with you that there are probably 10 dental schools in the United States that use this program, and I consider them probably the best practice management curriculum in the United States. And so you are getting, in my opinion, some of the best instruction in practice management just by virtue of using this simulation. So you may remember when you registered, there was a drop-down menu, and UE was on there as a school, and Louisville, and I can't remember the other schools, but those are the other schools that are using this simulation. I know that I think Ohio State University is considered, or I should say the Ohio State University is considered using this simulation down the road as well. So got one more kind of introduction to the simulation video to share with you, and hopefully that'll work, just about kind of helping you to walk through the website itself. So let me get that queued up for you. Okay, everybody got that using the website? Okay, here we go.
Hello, this is Dave Willis, and in this video tutorial, I want to talk a little bit about using the website for the Dental Practice Strategic Challenge. I'll discuss how you register, how you log on, and what kind of information is on that site. So here we are at the portal page of dentalsimulations.com. So let's go ahead and click the registration link up here. And you can see we have...
We'll skip this part since you've all done that. Let me fast forward to about 1:30. There we go.
Assume that your game administrator has assigned you to a team, and we'll go ahead and log in as a team member. So here we are ready to log in. Let's go ahead and log into our account. And we are in our practice homepage. Now, all members of our team can see everything that's on this page, but only members of our team can see our particular documents.
So if you were to log in right now to your advanced simulation login using your username and your password, you would click on event documents, this tab right here, and you would see some of the initial documents that have been programmed already in the simulation. So some of that information is already there.
From here, there's a menu bar that runs across the page. Manage profile allows us to change our username, password, things like that. Additional material contains information for student participants. For example, there's a series on notes on the decisions. These notes on the decisions describe the various decisions that you'll make and their effect on the operations of the practice. There's other additional information, tutorials, background material that you'll find here in the additional material for student participants. The decision entry form is where you enter your decisions. For example, if we're ready to enter decisions for quarter 14, simply click on quarter 14, and there's a series of drop-down boxes. And the student manual describes these in a lot of detail, and what you'll need to do is go through these and make a series of decisions. So let's go ahead and do that. And through the magic of modern electronics, we've completed that. So we can go down to the bottom and click Save Answers. And you can see that there's a couple that we haven't filled out, so it reminds us that we need to fill all those forms out. Save Answers. We get a confirmation page that asks us to check to be sure that those are in fact the decisions that we want to make, and then click Save Answers. When we do that, we'll get a confirmational email sent to every member of the team. Now you need to be sure to click this.
I want to make a comment about that. I don't know what is going on there at UE in terms of information technology security, but we have our email system here so locked down that it's gotten to the point of almost not being usable at times. So for example, our students will not get an email from the dental simulation webpage because our email system thinks it's junk, or thinks more likely that it's phishing, and it won't even let the email go into the junk folder, let alone land in their inbox. So hopefully your systems will allow you to get that email to confirm the decisions that you've made. I guess we'll have to see how that works. I think that's happened in the past, but we'll see.
Save Answers a second time, save it to the database because it's asking for confirmation. If you make your decisions off a phone or small screen device, you may not see this. So be sure that you get that Save Answers clicked in order to save your answers to the database. You can email all of your team members just by clicking the Email Team. It'll go to all team members, or you can email the game administrator. The final menu bar that we haven't discussed is the Calculations page. What this is a series of calculations that you might want to use when making decisions about your simulated practice. For example, under Operations, there's the hours decision that you'll make. And let's say that your original hours policy was a 1, your staff wages were $20,000, payroll taxes were $1,500, utilities were $6,000, so your total costs when you calculated were $27,500. If you decide to go to an hours policy of 4, which is 40 hours a week, basically increasing the number of hours by 10 hours a week, what's going to be the difference there? Well, it's going to be $9,167. So in your decisions, you know that you're going to have additional costs, and you'll have to decide if you'll be able to make up that additional cost through additional production. So there are a whole series of these calculations pages. You can also reach them in the complete decision entry form page. This is one we've already completed, but the little green question mark takes you to that same page for the decision that's appropriate. So let's go back to our members homepage. On the left-hand side, we have event documents that are available for everybody in the game. Team quarterly reports are only available to members of your team because they're your quarterly reports. And team analysis reports. These are analysis that you might have bought or analysis that your game administrator might have sent to you. Let's look at each one of those real briefly. The event documents include things such as the initial printout, initial values, net worth rankings, various rankings that your game administrator might send you as well. Team quarterly reports are reports for each of the quarters that you've participated in. And team analysis reports, we'll move this a little bit so you can see it a little better, may be, for example, financial analysis that you've ordered, in this case for quarter 4. And you can see that that analysis report for quarter 4 is going to be in your in basket. There's also a help page that further describes these decisions, frequently asked questions. For example, what effect do hours have on operation? So you can see the page then has a discussion on the effect of each of those decisions. So this video tutorial describes the website for the Dental Practice Strategic Challenge, the types of information that's on there, and how you log on.
As we get into the simulation, there are lots of variables to understand, lots of decisions to be made. Just rest assured we're going to work on this together as a group, and then I'll work with your individual practices as well. So we'll be starting this slowly. I'm not going to expect you to swim a 2-mile backstroke right off the bat. I mean, we're going to learn how to get in the pool first, you know, and learn some basic information. And we'll be doing, and again, we're for the simulation, for the most part, there are not out of class assignments. This is all done in class, problem solving with your teams, working with each other, and then in consults with me. So we'll be spending a lot of time, devoting a lot of time to learning this and implementing it as we go through here in the next 3 weeks or so. Any questions?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. I'm sure we'll have questions as we get into this tomorrow and then the next day. Let me bring up, we're going to take a detour here, and I guess I need to know from you, are you able to, I'll probably pause the Zoom meeting and give you an assignment to do in your practices that will probably take you maybe 45 minutes at the most. Are you able to talk with each other through FaceTime or through WhatsApp or something? Is that a yes? I mean, can you do that?
We can do that.
You can do that? Okay, because I don't know. I can't set you up in breakout rooms in Zoom and have you all meet at the same time, because I could only meet with one group at a time. That's not a good use of time right now. It will be tomorrow and the days that follow. So I'm going to bring up an assignment for you to work on have you work on your practices. Try to share that screen with you. This is also posted under topic 1 on our VLE if you prefer to look at it there. Might be easier just to look at it here. All right, let's see if I can share my screen here. Okay, are you seeing practice PowerPoint slide?
Yes, we're seeing that.
Wonderful. Okay, so here's your job. I'm gonna pause the Zoom meeting. And by the way, I've been asked to record all these by Dr. Jones. So if I remember to turn off and on the camera, it will record. Sometimes I forget because I have to click a button. But anyway, so this is what I'd like you to do with your practice. So I would like each of your practices now to chat via WhatsApp or through FaceTime, or it doesn't matter to me how you do it. Whatever you're using for social media to get this done. And so we'll have each practice get together on your own. And so we'll have practice 1, practice 2, practice 3, practice 4, practice 5. Each meet individually. So Lisa and Caroline, you'll have your own meeting. Janae and Anissa, you'll have your own meeting. Larissa, Alicia, Ashley, and so forth, your own meeting. So I have 3 of your practice names and mottos, but I don't have a couple of them. And even if I did, I'd still want you to do this. So what I want you to do is either create a single slide PowerPoint if you have PowerPoint. If you don't have PowerPoint, I don't care. If you have Word or anything else to create a one-page thing, that's what I want, a one-page thing. PowerPoint slide or a Word document. Put on there your name. If you want to make it fancy lettering or font, good. Put on there your practice motto. Put on there your names. Each of you have 2 names of practice members. And then if you want to do anything, I know, I can't remember who, someone of you is into art. I mean, if you want to make this an artsy thing, that's great. If you don't, if you want just plain text, that's fine too. If you want to import some gorgeous picture of the beach from Jamaica, that's fine. It's okay not to. If you want a picture of the Blue Mountains, that's fine. It's okay not to. So just a one-page PowerPoint slide or Word document, practice name, practice motto, list your names as practice members on there. And then, oh, you know what I forgot to put on here? I'd be in big trouble if I didn't do this one. So, photo of each member. Okay, so take a selfie, or you may have one on Facebook already. Make sure it's probably professional, probably not beachwear, probably wouldn't be good. So just make sure it's professional. So import all that and then make that one-page PowerPoint or one-page Word document. And then if you would then send your slide or your single page to me. And then I'd also ask you to send that to my wife, because she will be putting those up on our Facebook page. Got to be asked to be a member of that page. So hopefully everybody will join that eventually. So we'll put the practice names, mottos, and photos up on that. So let's see, it is 10:17. Any questions about what I want? Don't think it's too complicated. So for those of you who've already come up with a name and a motto, this will probably go quicker than for those of you who haven't done that, but even so, let's see, somebody emailed me their name just to give you an example. If I could find my screenshot here. Okay, so Janae and Anissa, their practice name is, what is your practice name? It cut off my picture. Their motto, I got that. Their motto is changing lives one smile at a time. So, and then they have a practice name that goes along with that. So go ahead, I'll give you, let's do this till like 11. Just so you can, one person can be in charge of gathering the information with the photos, your name, motto, and then I'll check my inbox. And then when I see all 5 of those in there, we'll know it's time to move on. But I think you'll probably get this done in 30 or 40 minutes, and I'll just be monitoring you. And then until then, I'll mute my video and pause our Zoom meeting. Any questions?
Professor Dunning.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we might have the same motto as somebody.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. I think I just heard, because our motto is changing lives one smile at a time.
Okay.
So I don't know if someone else has that motto. I think I just heard.
If you have the same
Does it
motto,
matter?
if you have the same motto, I'm okay with that. I don't.
Okay,
We can't have the same name.
Okay, just
If we have two, if we have two Jamaica Smiles, for example, it'd be Jamaica Smiles 1 and Jamaica Smiles 2. So
okay,
I mean, so yeah. So go ahead and just go work on that, and that's okay if you have the same motto. That's never happened before, but I'm not concerned about it.
Okay, all right.
All right. So good luck. I'll check base with you here in about 30 minutes. Alicia and Gervais, practice 5. I'm just checking to see if you've sent your file. I haven't received it. I'm wondering if it might be stuck in cyberspace.
I sent it about 7 minutes ago.
Oh, that's why I'm checking. So let me see. Does it show that it went through?
Yeah, it said it was sent.
Dr. Dunning or
Yeah.
Professor Dunning, sorry.
Yeah.
I sent another one, sorry, with because I had to change a picture in it. So I sent an updated one. It's the last one sent. I just sent it.
Okay, and
So if
who's speaking?
Alicia, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Alicia, Ross.
All right. Let's see.
I
Yeah. Go
I sent
ahead.
an updated one.
Yeah, I did. You're talking about your practice slide?
Yes, the slide.
Yeah, I didn't get either one of you from either one of you, so I don't know where it is.
I'm not sure.
Except
Okay,
it's not here. I believe
right.
you, but I don't trust the email. So
all right, let me resend it.
okay.
I'll resend it. Okay.
Aha. There it is. I just got 2. All right.
The one that was sent from me is the one with the updated.
Okay.
So
11:25. Okay. And the one, okay.
One from Alicia.
One from, okay. So should I, Gervais, should I delete yours? Or maybe you just copied him?
Yeah,
Alicia?
I sent it to him as well.
Okay,
the updated
great.
one.
Okay, I've
But I
got
had to
it.
change a picture in it. Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we're just waiting on one practice. I think I was going to go over some more information. We got lots to cover tomorrow, but you know, we've already had almost 3.5 hours together. So what I'd like to have each practice do with our remaining time is, if you would just, I assume, do you all know how to share your screen?
Yes, we do.
Okay, very good. All right, so let's start with practice 1. If you would please, I will stop sharing. And then, all right. So Lisa, Caroline, would you please share your slide and give us your name, your motto?
Are you able to see?
I am able to see, thank you.
I'm not sure.
Pretty fancy there.
That was all Lisa. I'm not sure.
Okay, well, good.
I'm not sure. My screen is glitching on my end, so I'm not sure if that's affecting what you're seeing.
No, I can see it fine. How about anybody else?
It's good, I can
Yes,
see.
we can see it.
Yeah, I think we're okay on the receiving end. There we go. Great.
So Lisa,
Hi, I'm here.
so we went with Grinner's Dentistry, and our motto is one more reason to smile.
Very nice. And then you've got a picture on the next page, I think, maybe, or down below. Very good. There they are. Grinners who are grinning.
There you go.
Okay, good. Let's see. Thank you for doing that. Let's go with group 2.
Our name is Superior Smiles. Our motto is a better life starts with a beautiful smile. And there you see our pictures below.
Yeah, we can see it. Everybody see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did either your the groups 1 or 2, did you work on this in advance, or is this like just stuff you did in the last hour?
We
It
just
was just done.
Gee, you guys are talented. Okay, very good. All right, and a better life starts with a beautiful smile. Very nice, thank you. And let's do group 3.
Are you guys seeing my screen?
I got it. Everybody else got it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, so our practice name is called Guy Jam Dental, and our motto is "Your smile is our canvas." And yes.
Okay, so tell me about Guy Jam.
Oh, okay. So Guy Jam, it's called Guy Jam because of the countries that we're from. So Larissa is from Guyana, and I'm from Jamaica. So we just
okay.
The name.
Okay, because when you sent me that, I YouTubed Guy Jam, but there was a group called Jam that had a song named Guy, or the other way around. I couldn't remember. So that makes I'm getting it now. All right, very good.
Yes.
Nice work. All right. All right. How about group 4?
Is that us? What group is that?
Bogdan and Leah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so our practice
That looks very Jamaican.
Super Smiles, and our motto is a smile beyond your expectations.
Very nice. And where are we looking here? What beach are we looking at?
Leah?
That's Negril, Jamaica.
Oh, I've been there. Wish I were there today. Very nice. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. And group 5. So I don't think we have any mottos that are duplicating or names, so that's good.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Sure can, thank you.
Okay, all right. So our practice name is Healthy Smiles Dental Clinic. What I mean. All right. So, can you see the next slide?
Okay, see it. Yep.
Okay. So our practice motto is a smile is a curve that sets everything straight.
Okay,
practice
very
members
good.
Gervais Green and Alicia Rawl.
Okay,
so that's
nice.
Gervais. That's Alicia. This is also an outreach, giving back to our community.
Okay, nice. My goodness. All right.
That's Gervais. And this is me as well, teaching. All right, that's it.
Very nice. Okay. Nicely done. So I assume that all of your outreach activities are on hold as a school?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, ours are too. We'll see if and when they're able to resume. I did want to let you know that as soon as COVID-19 issues started, the American Dental Education Association created a working group on how clinics would reopen and how they could possibly reopen. And I had contacted Professor Jones, and he connected with this national consortium of dental schools throughout the United States. And I know he's been, looking at a lot of their emails and their reports, and so I'm sure they're going to get up and running as soon as they possibly can. It's a long process, and sometimes the rules change midstream, as they did even for our school. Even going into classes for next fall for us in August, I still don't know, nor does anybody where I teach, what we're going to, how we're going to be teaching. We're not sure if it's going to be in person, if it's going to be remote like this, if it's going to be some combination. So it's just kind of an unfolding world of uncertainty right now. So going forward with the simulation tomorrow, we'll watch some videos. I'll go over some basic information, kind of like ground rules for the simulation. And even though you all love and support each other going in tomorrow, now you become competitors in a marketplace, trying to vie for the same patients to come see your practices. And as part of the simulation, you're going to develop strategies around how to attract patients. And you can attract patients in different ways. Some of you may want to take more CE courses or continuing education courses, which you can do in the simulation. Some of you may want to have a unique practice style. Others of you may want to do more marketing in terms of investing in terms of dollars. So we'll be diving into that, and we'll be making our first rounds of decisions in the simulation. And again, we'll do a practice round that doesn't count. And then we'll do a round that actually counts. And then tomorrow also, you'll be starting on your goals for your practice. We'll go over the numbers from the practice that you bought, which is Dr. Old's practice. We'll go through what he did the last 3 months of his practice before you acquired it. And then we'll go through all those numbers and get big picture information. And then in addition to making the first round of simulation decisions, you'll start working on your targets. In other words, where do you want to take this practice in the simulation in 3 years of simulated practice? So that's kind of where we're headed tomorrow, and we'll just keep going with these remote sessions. I think I am going to try to download these. I have to convert the file from today and then try to upload it to, I think, through the UE YouTube channel. I'm not sure that you need to watch it, but I'll try to do that with each class session. It may take me a few days to get those uploaded, but that's kind of where we're headed. Questions or anything for tomorrow?
No.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for hanging in there for these remote sessions today. I probably did more talking today and tomorrow than I will the rest of the times, on a per day basis, because tomorrow we'll spend quite a bit of time talking in groups, probably at least, my guess is probably at least 20 to 30 minutes per group in a private breakout room with me. So that'll be probably 2 of our 4 hours tomorrow or something like that. So take care, be safe, and be healthy, and I'll visit with you tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All
Thank
right,
you all.
bye.
Bye-bye.